Hey guys, this is Chris, and I feel like I've been mentioning my Leisure Arts pattern collection quite a bit. I really like getting patterns from Leisure Arts because they have a lot of their back catalog available digitally. So most of what I'm going to show you today, you can go online to leisurearts.com and purchase and look for a coupon code. They usually have one running. But I wanted to just go through some of my collection and tell you what I like about them so much, and hopefully you will find something that interests you and you will find some patterns that you might want to make. So I'm going to start with accessories. This stack here is mostly accessories, and then I will move on to garments. Depending on how long I go on, this may be a two-part video. So these two books are super scarves. In case you couldn't tell, I had a super scarf moment where I thought all I wanted to do was make super scarves. And super scarves are just scarves on like this kind of scale. So you see it's more than the length of her body. She has that wrapped around her neck to shorten it some. And they're very thick and they're very wide. Now, I don't necessarily recommend making these out of the acrylic yarn they suggest because they can get quite a bit heavy. But I think these are just really fun designs. I particularly like this one here with the cable patterns. These are both by the same author, Bonnie Barker. And yeah, here's just an idea of what the patterns look like. And I think I actually haven't gotten around to making any of these yet. My mom did make this one. It left her with a lot of ends to weave in, but again, she made it out of acrylic and it was just too heavy, so she ended up donating it. But this is just one option, and I'll probably get around to making a super scarf at some point this year. So here are a couple of sock books. I haven't made any socks yet, but I think my mom has made at least one pair out of, I think she maybe made these. But this has 9 designs in it. I think that's really cute. I don't know, maybe I'll try a tube sock. This one also has patterns for leg warmers, but I don't know, I don't feel like you really need a pattern for leg warmers. I usually just wing it. But there are a lot of options in here that I think are just really cute. This one's a little weird though. I'm not sure I like these colors of the yarn, but look, that one's super cute. So what I wanted to really show you is that you basically can find a pattern for almost anything. If you go to their website, to the Leisure Arts website, there's also a lot of like baby patterns. I don't really make baby garments and blankets, but if that's your thing, also Afghans, you will definitely find Afghan patterns on the Leisure Arts website. So these are 2 books that are Tunisian. So I don't do Tunisian crochet. My mom does, but I just wanted to show you what's available. So this one is kind of like a Farrell thing happening, which I think is actually gorgeous. And I'm always attracted to shawls like this, these kind of like wedge-shaped pieces put together. So something like this always catches my eye. And this one has like a cabled pattern. See, this is going to be a little more challenging than I thought. There you go. And these all use short rows. So if you're a little bit more advanced in your Tunisian crochet, you can do some short row shaping to make the patterns in this book. These are Fair Owl mittens because I just wanted to show you can make just about anything in crochet. You don't have to knit to make specific items. And this uses, I think people call it waistcoat stitch, or some people call it center single crochet. I believe this book calls it split single crochet, but basically you're working in a different part of the single crochet stitch in order to get a texture that looks similar to stockinette. But this is some gorgeous color work. So I think this book is just called Fair Owl Mittens. And so if you wanted to learn waistcoat stitch, if you wanted to learn color work, this book is a great option. And I haven't made anything from this book. I'm not a fan of trying to make my crochet look like knitting, but that's just me. That's just my personal bias. But if you are interested in waistcoat stitch, this book is probably the one. Look, these are fish. I just noticed that. That's really cute. These are fish. And this is just a book of cowls. And see, I tend to like ruffly things like that. I think that's cute, but you can't really go wrong with a little bit of fringe. Most of the books tend to have like 5 or more patterns, so you usually are getting a good number of patterns for your dollar. This was full price when this was like a new book. This was $10. I don't know what the digital price would be today, but you're going to get at least 5 patterns. Let's see. Yeah, no, you're getting like 10 or 12, yeah, 10 designs for every neck. Okay, so you're getting 10 patterns in this book for $10. I mean, you really can't beat that. What more do you want? So here are a couple of tote bag books, because I also had these aren't even all my tote bag books, but some of them that I have weren't Leisure Arts, and I really wanted to focus on the Leisure Arts brand. But I had a tote bag moment as well. This is just kooky enough to appeal to me. I've actually wanted to buy one of these purse frames, or even look for a purse at a thrift store that has one of these frames and take it apart and make a bag like this, because I really like this kind of old-fashioned clutches. So these are a little bit more everyday type bags, you know, market bags and things like that. You know, your basic meshes for like carrying groceries or like your yoga mat. These are a little bit more, I'm going to loosely use the term stylish, but there's a little bit more design to them. They're trying to do some different shapes. Like I think this is actually really cute. I don't know, you probably couldn't put a lot of weight in this bag if, you know, your handles are just stitched on like this, unless maybe you reinforce the handles with some fabric behind it. But I still think this is a cute design. I don't know that I would do these flowers, but you could do some sort of embroidery, or even just put some little beads or charms on the bag. But this book has a lot of cute options. So we've seen socks, we've seen cowls, we've seen totes. Leisure Arts has pretty much got you covered, whatever it is you think you want to make. I want to show you guys this one just because I think it's fun. I don't even remember where I got this, probably at like some used book sale somewhere. But these crochet collars were a thing in the 80s, and this book is probably from the 80s, and they were worn exactly how you see people wearing them in these pictures. But these are fun to learn lacy stitches, or like filet crochet, like this one. You know, she's feeling very jaunty putting that little ribbon there, but I think these are good technique books. I think these patterns will still teach you something useful, even if you're not specifically into wearing the crochet collar. So I look for things like that too. I'm not always looking for just specific things that I want to make. Sometimes I'm just looking to learn a new skill when I'm buying books. And that is the same reason I bought this book of doilies, because again, you will learn lacy patterns. And sometimes I imagine that I might try to figure out how to make these patterns working even instead of working in the round, and turn them into like a top or something, or even working in the round and maybe turning a doily pattern, using that as inspiration to make a skirt. So, because I don't really intend to make doilies specifically. Yeah, I'm probably not going to be making doilies, but I feel like once you learn how to make these gorgeous designs, you could probably also figure out what to turn them into. And so this is 13 patterns. And again, this is full price. This was $15. I don't know what it's selling for digitally, but still you're paying around $1 a pattern. So I find that these leisure art books are a good deal. And if I can get a coupon code on their website or get a coupon to use at a store, I will snap them up. So this is another vintage one. This is another one from the 80s. Designs by Darla. And these are all, so this has 5 patterns in it. And all of them have bobbles. Not a fan of bobbles, but I still think these are fun ideas. And I think this one works best. And this is actually the same pattern that's on the cover. This is the long sleeve version. This is the short sleeve version. I think this one works best in terms of using bobbles because the bobbles are also being used to create kind of a cable pattern. And I think they look less bobbly, if that makes sense, as opposed to something like this where it just looks like something is hanging off of your shirt. But again, so this is probably going to be worked top down in the round. This has set in sleeves. So again, these patterns are just great for learning different techniques, even if you don't want to make this exact thing. And so now we're moving more into garments. This is shrugs, shawls, and boleros. This is where I got the idea for the super shrug. Mine didn't come out super, but it still came out really cute and I like it. Now, I have to say this particular book, I wasn't crazy about all the patterns in it. But sometimes you can just use the schematic and maybe change the stitch pattern. See, or maybe it's just this yarn is too thick. I don't know. Like, I'm not crazy about the stitch pattern, but you can just use the schematic and recreate this shape. So again, there's a lot to be taken from these books, even if you're not going to make the exact thing. And this is convertible. It has buttons along the sleeves here, so you can flip it a few different ways. Let me see. So there's another way she's wearing it. And then she's just wearing it as a shawl there. And then here she's wearing it as a jacket. So these books are just great for finding ideas because you can just take inspiration from this, make a rectangle and work it different ways, like that particular pattern in this book. Let me see what that one was called. That is the convertible flower lace shrug. This is Unforgettable Crochet. This is by Lisa Gentry. Lisa Gentry does a lot of good beginner patterns. She has a whole book called The Crochet Closet. That was one of the books that I started with when I was learning how to make garments. But again, this is a garment designed to be worn in a few different ways, but it's a very simple construction. So see, this is the second way that's being worn. It's basically a shawl with sleeves, and this is a pattern that I keep coming back to. I haven't made it yet, but I just like this overall idea of just making a basic rectangular shawl and sticking some sleeves on it and then wearing it a number of different ways. I also like this one. I think it's mostly the color that appeals to me, but I'm a capelet girl. I will actually wear capelets, so things like this will always appeal to me. This again is just, it's very basic, it's very simple, but what I like about designs that are this simple is that it gives your yarn a chance to shine. So if you have like a really cute, pretty yarn, you have something that's variegated or has sparkle or something in it, you can find a very simple, basic pattern that will showcase that yarn nicely. So here's that. That is really pretty. This is called the Chic Motif Cape. And this is the three-way wrap. Yeah, not crazy about this vest, but I feel like there's an idea here. I think I like the overall shape, but I'm not sure about all the different stitch patterns they use. But again, you can just use these designs for inspiration. This is called the Cutaway Vest. And most of the Leisure Arts books are beginner, advanced beginner, low intermediate. So they're not hard. You're going to find something that you will be able to make, I promise. Oversized Sweaters by Melissa Leapman. Melissa Leapman does both knitting and crochet designs. She's one of those designers I kind of keep going back to. And okay, technically this is a poncho. I'm not going to let her get away with calling this a sweater, but that's okay. It's still oversized. But this is my favorite. This is the thing in here that I think I'm going to make, or make something similar to it. This is called Unconstructed Jacket, but I love anything with this kind of handkerchief hem. But I also like that this is oversized. So, you know, if you're specifically wanting to use your bigger, heavier yarns, you can still make something that doesn't feel too clunky chunky by just leaning into the weight of the yarn and making something that is meant to be very oversized. And it's called the Slouchy Pullover. And again, these designs are mostly very simple. I like this with the open back. It's called Black and Strappy. And that's just a fun detail. And it's just going to take your basic rectangle up a notch. And you can even do something lacy at this bulkier weight yarn. And I think it's really cute. So these designs really work for me. And the book is just called Oversized Sweaters. You will find that most of the titles are quite on the nose. But that also makes things easier to find. So you're like, oh, what was that book with the oversized sweaters in it? If you just type oversized sweaters in the search, you're going to find it. Vest, The Long and the Short. This is by Abby Swanson. This one on the cover is actually my favorite, and it's just simple rectangles, but then they just styled it in a cute way. And I also like this top here. I made something similar to that. I kind of just borrowed the shape of it, but again, I used an acrylic. Wasn't my best idea, but this is just a really cute short top. There's a little tiny bit of waist shaping in it, but nothing too difficult. And then it has a cowl neck. And this is done in a bulky yarn. So I feel like what she's wearing here is a really cute fall outfit. Or if you wanted to, you could put something on underneath it with sleeves. But at this weight, I wouldn't use acrylic. I would really look for a wool, or perhaps a wool blend, just to lighten it up a little bit. This is the cable wrap that I like so much. And it's got kind of a cabling pattern down the back. I would probably do something a little bit more interesting with those cables, but or even just something like what they did on the front, just those two simple lines going down the front. I'm not crazy about what they did on the back here, but it's still just a really cute idea. And again, a lot of these are at a heavier weight, but I think it works. And I'm always looking for ways to make heavier yarns work for me, because I tend to work at fingering weight so much. I like having all of these ideas available. So I think this little short length duster is super cute. And again, all of these designs, like they're calling, yeah, this is called Easy Plus. So that's how they're grading it. But I think these things are really simple and really cute. And I can see myself wearing a lot of them. This is another older pattern book. Jackets for the Real You. And I feel like that's a good title, because these are some cute jackets. These are wearable. Most of them have zippers installed. I have never done a zipper on a crochet garment, but I mean to. So this one, I mean, this is just like a cute fall cardigan. I'm not entirely crazy about this yarn, but I like the idea. I like the basic shape. I think these are all by different designers. Yeah. But again, if you're using a chunky yarn, making something that's supposed to be big makes a lot of sense. So now, again, I'm not crazy about bobbles, but I feel like here it kind of works. If I made this though, I would take the bobbles off the sleeves and just have them on the body because I feel like that's cute. But I like what they did with the contrasting cuff and hood and hem. Now this has an all over bobble, but this almost works for me. This is actually kind of cute. And it looks like, and I want to say maybe they did some raglan shaping, but I'm not sure. Yeah, so there's only 5 patterns in here, but I feel like this is a good buy because they're all worthwhile. These are all jackets that, oh, there's 4 patterns as a matter of fact. These are all jackets that I think I would make and wear. So you might see a bomber from me sooner rather than later. This is Romantic Looks Crochet. I know for a fact this is still on their website. I just saw it the other day. But this has like clothes. This has clothes that has like some real like design elements to it that I think are like, look at this coat. Like, you know, novelty yarns can be really difficult to work with, but sometimes if you just lean into the chunky funky features of the novelty yarn, I think you can come out with something really fun but still really wearable. Let me see if I can find my favorite top. I actually started a top in here. This is it. It's called Jacket Artistry. But I did not like the yarn I was using. I think if I tried this again, I would definitely use a lighter weight yarn. But I like all these like asymmetric elements. The hem, you know, doesn't match up in the front. It's a little shorter in the back than it is in the front. And they just kind of go back and forth between these two textures, this open lacy work and this more closed texture. And I love this. I absolutely love this. The designer is Anna Mishka. And I would rock this all day. Put that on with a cute pair of jeans and you're ready. This is just like a basic, kind of like a baby doll dress. But it's just really simple. So if you haven't made a dress before, you might want to look for something like this. Yeah, it's just called Dress with Flair. Again, I like ruffles. This has got ruffles, it's got cables, it's got bobbles, it's got a lot going on. But I think with hats and scarves, you can have a little bit of fun. Trying to find the skirt pattern that's on the back. Let's see. The pattern names aren't really helping, like Winter Enchantments. Like, that's a cute look. I like the idea of putting the bow on the vest here. I actually think that's really cute. And I like that they made the vest lacy. Usually I imagine vests as like closed garments, but having something lacy, it's a fun little twist. This is a crochet element sewn onto another top, and that's actually an interesting idea. I like how much of the front of the top is covered by the crochet. Okay, I can't find the skirt, y'all, but it's just a long A-line, a long pencil skirt with a ruffle, and I think that's just really cute. So crochet is for clothes. Don't let me catch y'all saying otherwise. This is and that's a wrap. Shannon Mullet Bowlesby. And again, this is in that, let me show y'all this one because that's actually really cute. So I showed you before a shawl, basically a rectangle shawl with sleeves. This one just has one sleeve. And, you know, it's going for like a whole drama wrap thing that I really like. So this is just playing around with the idea of a basic shawl, but making it a little something extra. This is the Tribeca shoulder wrap. Would not do this out of a bulky yarn, especially, I mean, this looks like a spring day. I'm not sure it's appropriate for the weather she's in, but yeah, I would not do this out of a bulky yarn. But again, it's just a basic rectangle. I like the button details going down the front. I like the scalloped edges. I think it's fun and it's cute. This is just a textured wrap. And this is the Sundance wrap tunic. And so this book, I think, has 5 designs in it. Oh, yeah, this one has the Ruana. This book is the reason I want to make a Ruana. This is probably where I learned the word. So this is the Edinburgh Ruana. And I think there's another picture here. Yeah. So it's just giant. And I love it. And I definitely want to make something like this. I'm trying to find the right yarn. I have some linen though. I feel like this linen could definitely be a possibility so that it wouldn't be too heavy, because that's a lot of yarn. I wanted to show you guys this one because look, this is a very specific look. I'm aware of that, but it's also just a really crazy simple construction. You're basically just putting together a couple of triangles and you're making like the easiest top in the world. Now this, I think the colors are crazy, but I think they did some interesting things here. First of all, I like the multicolor going down the center of the solid stripe. And if you notice, each of the multicolor yarns has a color in it that's similar to the solid color in the stripe. So I think they use maybe a few too many colors, but I like this idea. I like how they made the stripes just a little bit more interesting. I like the buttons down the front, but this is still the same basic construction as all of the other garments in this book. This is really, I mean, this one's a little bit different, but most of the things in this book kind of riff off of a single idea. And then I also really like this. This is, again, it's a very simple shape you're making, and then you just fold it creatively, and it actually has some buttons that are holding it in place here under the arms. And just, I feel like just adding this little bit of ruffle detail makes this much cuter than it, because it looks like this is all double crochet. But this ruffle detail just makes it way cuter than it would have been otherwise. The designer is Shell Hendricks. And I think it was just very clever of Shell Hendricks to take something that is super basic, but have a lot of fun with it. I like the hoods. These are basically triangles, which is why you have these points here, but you could shape it so that you don't have points at the bottom here, and you could just make the edge squared off like this one, but still keep that same simple construction. So this is kind of a fun and easy way to make a really quick basic cardigan. I mean, look at that. Apparently I tried to make this one. Sometimes I just lose interest if the pattern is too simple. So this is, again, one of those things where I would probably just make up, you know, get a stitch dictionary and find my own stitch pattern to make it a little bit more interesting, or use, you know, a colorful or variegated yarn. This has like a little ribbed edging here and the cute collar, the buttons down the front. I mean, I feel like the designer just took very, very simple ideas and put them together and ended up with something really cute. So this is different ways that the little ruffle shawl can be worn. I mean, come on, y'all. It's just not going to be hard to, if you have not made a garment yet, if you're, you know, worried about garment construction, that is the simplest construction you're going to find. Now, these patterns are probably a little bit more, I would say they're intermediate. This one might not be Leisure Arts. This one might have snuck in here. But since I already showed you the cover, I will go ahead and show it to you. Oh, yeah. I don't think any of those. Okay. So I have a few here from Red Heart. And I don't know. These might not be Leisure Arts. My bad. But since I have you here, let me show them to you. This one on the cover here. I don't like these colors at all. I hate what they did with the color choice, but I like the idea of using different colors for the body, the cuff, and that front detail. This is a cute lacy jacket. I know there's one. Yeah, this is it. This one, I tried this when I did not have the skills for it because this area up here actually involves short rows. And when I first tried this pattern, I didn't even know what short rows were. But now that I'm a slightly better crocheter than I was then, I mean to make this coat because this is a very me style. This is something that I would buy in a store if it was, you know, at a price I could afford. This is really cute. It's called the Capelet Swing Cardi. And I like the ribbon. This is the ruffles jacket. And so they also have some sewn ruffles here. I would probably do crochet ruffles, but still use this contrasting color like they did here, just so I wouldn't have to sew. But I love the idea of running a ribbon through your crochet. It's something that I haven't done yet, but every time I see it, I'm like, I really like that. This is just a cute lacy jacket. And this is called Favorite Cardi. And again, I don't like the specific colors they chose here, but I like that they didn't make it all one color because that would have actually been quite boring. So this is Cardis and Jackets to Crochet. I know I got this probably at Joann, you know, with like a 40 off coupon or something. So I don't know, you'd have to look for this one online because my bad, I really thought these were Leisure Arts books. But you know what? I picked them up, you know, when I was going through my pattern books because I know there are a lot of patterns in these booklets that I like. So I will just go ahead and show them to you anyway. This is Spring Has Sprung. And this is an overview of all the patterns that are in here. As you can see, there's a duplicate. We just saw this cardigan in the last book. Summertime Dress is one I actually made. I made it and I wore it. This was the acrylic dress that almost killed me. But when the weather is appropriate, it was actually perfectly comfortable to wear this dress. I made this dress out of like really cheap yarn that I got at Michael's. And I was really excited because I made it for like less than $10. And I wore it to someone's wedding and I looked really cute. This is the Summer Breeze cardigan. They have a couple of vests in here. Let me show you these vests. I don't know, if most people are vest people, but I think they're fun. I think I like to layer because I tend to prefer not to wear big bulky sweaters even in the winter. So I think vests are a great option for just like keeping your chest warm, but without wearing, you know, too much bulk. So this is the Springtime Shell vest. And then the other one is the preppy tank. I would definitely size this down in terms of the yarn. This is a worsted. This is done in the worsted weight yarn, but it's a very simple shape. So make a gauge swatch, and you'll be able to make this in a lighter weight yarn. But I just think this lacy detail is cute. I'd like the contrast between the lacy part and then this very textured stitch. So again, these are just all the patterns that are in here. But you know what? There's one more vest, so let me show that to you. It's called Vested Interest. This is just a bigger pattern picture. Nope. But again, you got the ribbon strung through it. That's always going to call to me. And this cute little scalloped edging detail, I think is also fun. And then the last one that is technically not Leisure Arts, my bad, is Light and Airy Summer Crochet. And here's an overview of what's in it. I like this dress. This dress was in a magazine too. It was in a crochet pattern magazine, but I can't remember which one. Let's take a look at it. Lacy Days of Summer. And I feel like you could even make the top of the dress and the bottom of the dress as two separate pieces and have a cute little like crop top and dress set if you wanted to. And this is actually done in a sport weight yarn because, you know, it's for summer. I still think you're taking your chances wearing acrylic in the summer, but maybe if you live someplace that doesn't get particularly hot in the summer, I like this top a lot. Lacy swing top. This is done in pieces actually and stitched together, but still pretty simple. This is just a tunic. I don't know how I feel about tunics, but some people might like them, so I'll go ahead and show you the tunic. This has a bikini. I'm not crocheting a bikini. It's just not going to happen. I'm just going to go and buy a bathing suit that I know is going to fit and stay on. I mean, this one, it doesn't even fit the model particularly well. And who is making a bikini out of acrylic? But is that a thing we're doing? I don't know. But it's a cute idea. I feel like the top, if you were comfortable wearing a bra top, you could just wear it as a shirt. Or I even like sometimes will wear like a bra top type of top over something else. Or under a sheer top or something like that. So to learn the construction of this shape, I think, this is fine, but I don't know that I would actually, I'm not crocheting a bikini. I'm just not. But I do think these are cute, fun summer patterns. So last look, let me take a look at Garden Party Dress. You know what? I actually really like the color of this yarn. I think this is beautiful. This is okay. I'm not crazy about this stitch pattern, but it's just a basic shape. They ran a crochet cord through it to make a little belt there and cinch it in at the waist a little bit, and I think that's cute. So Light and Airy Summer Crochet. So for these 3 pattern books, you might want to check the Yarnspirations website because that company purchased Red Heart. So that's, if they still have these books available, that's where they would be. Or you might be able to find the individual patterns in these books available on their website. So it's Light and Airy Summer Crochet, Spring Has Sprung, and Cardies and Jackets to Crochet. And my last book, this is actually Leisure Arts again, haha. Easygoing Fashions by Kathleen Zins. And I made a top out of this one. I made the mint tea and actually made it twice because I outgrew the first one. But I love this. This is a really great basic t-shirt pattern. You can make the whole thing solid if you want. I did the mesh part at the bottom, but you can make the whole thing solid. And they made the sleeves really easy on this. They did the sleeves from the bottom up, actually, I think. And this was the easiest time I ever had fitting sleeves onto a top. So if you haven't done fitted sleeves, I recommend the mint tea. And I had this pattern for years before I got this mint tea. Minty? Yeah. I just got that a little while ago. But this is a cute little, the pinkette short jacket. Simple, cute. This is a great thing to just throw over your shoulders if you got like air conditioning in your office or something. Or to make, you know, kind of make your own suit out of something. Just make a jacket in the same color as your pants or your skirt, and now you can call it a suit. This is lilacs. Just a hip length vest. Very simple. This is done in a sport weight yarn. So I like that all of these patterns aren't in worsted weight, because, you know, I feel like worsted weight yarn gets pushed a little heavily on crocheters, and not everything is suited to worsted weight yarn. So I like that this pattern book is showing you some garments at other weights. This is bluette. And again, I would take out at least some of these bobbles, probably the ones on the sleeves, but still just a basic, simple shape. And that is easygoing fashions. So let me know in the comments which of these books were your favorite, or if you have any of them, or if you decide you want to make something out of one of these, because I am a huge fan of these leisure art booklets. They tend to be less expensive than the full-length books, but they still have a lot of patterns, so you're getting bang for your buck, and the patterns tend to be quite simple. So let me know what you think, and I hope this video was useful for you, and I will talk to you guys soon. Stay stitching.